Honey is a sweet and viscous liquid made by bees from flower nectar. Over 3.5 billion jars of honey are consumed worldwide each year, generating a billion-dollar business. But have you ever wondered how honey is made? In this video, we will discover how bee honey is made. In ancient times, honey was considered the food of the gods and a symbol of wealth and happiness. It was used as a source of sustenance for centuries. The only way to harvest honey from beehives was by killing the bees. But in 1851, an American beekeeper invented a method to reach the honey without harming the bees. His method, based on removable frames, is still used today. It all begins in the field where worker bees suck the nectar from the flowers. Once the nectar is extracted, it is ingested and stored in their pollen sac. As the nectar travels through the bee's body, water is extracted and enters the bee's intestines. When the worker bee cannot contain any more nectar, it returns to the hive where other worker bees extract and chew it, breaking down the complex sugars of the nectar into two simple sugars, glucose and fructose. They then deposit the nectar into the wax cells they have built. Even inside the wax cell, it still has a significant amount of moisture, so the bees fan it with their wings, reducing about 80% of the remaining water through evaporation. What's left is a thick, sticky honey. The bees then cover each cell with wax to preserve it in the best possible way, so it can last for years under good conditions. Bees make their honey in the summer to consume it in the winter, but if the year is good, they often produce more than they need. A beehive can produce more than 3 kilograms of honey in a single day, which is much more than the bees need. The surplus is what we eat. These beehives can hold up to 30 kilograms of honey, and in a good year, beekeepers can harvest up to 120 kilograms from each colony. The beehive can house hundreds of thousands of bees, all descendants of a queen bee. The queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day, creating the necessary workforce to feed and protect the colony. 12 bees produce 1 teaspoon of honey in their entire life. Once the bees have done their work, the beekeeper comes into action. The work is risky. The bees can sting if they feel surprised. Depending on the weather, the bees can be very aggressive, and in these cases, they can sting up to 20 or 30 times a day. The solution is protective suits and smoke to calm the bees. The beekeeper puts on a helmet with a veil and protective gloves. They smoke the bees in the hive with smoke from burning pine needles. Bees always move away from smoke, so they spray it from above, and the bees move down and eat honey. Eating honey calms them down a lot. The bees, upon sensing the presence of fire, gorge themselves on honey in an attempt to take as much as they can before fleeing. The beekeeper uncovers the beehive and brushes the bees off the frames. The frames are then placed in a transport box, and about a third of the honey is left in the hive to feed the colony. The frames are then inserted into a honey extractor, a large drum. The workers introduce the frames into an electric brush that sweeps the bees and scrapes the silk off the frames. Using a hot knife, they remove the wax that protects the honey, cut off the wax caps from the honeycomb cells, and manually remove the frames. The honeycombs are inserted into a honey extractor, a large drum that uses centrifugal force to extract the honey. As the extractor rotates, the honey is extracted and sticks to the walls, falling to the bottom in the shape of a cone and coming out of the extractor through a tap. Below the tap, there is a honey bucket covered by 2 sieves, one coarse and the other finer, to retain wax particles and other waste. The wax from the honeycombs is used to make candles, furniture polish, and lip balms. The honey is ready for bottling, and when producers have more honey than they can sell, they allow it to crystallize, developing sugar crystals that become hard and white. Later, when orders come in, they return it to its liquid form by heating it to 54 degrees Celsius. The honey is poured into tanks and pumped into a filling machine. The jars are vacuum cleaned, filled, and ready to taste this delicious delicacy. If you want to know how olive oil is made, you have the link in the description and in the first comment. Like, subscribe, and activate the enable the notifications to continue learning. Bye-bye.